Ryan Reynolds confirms Deadpool's MCU Phase 5 debut? 5 years ago, the biggest mystery of a generation rocked the pop culture world. No, not the fate of Ted Mosby's wife in How I Met Your Mother. No, it was something less sinister. It was in 2014 when test footage for Deadpool leaked on the internet, much to many a fan's delight. In fact, it was this positive fan reaction that helped get the film greenlit over at Fox and yada, yada, yada. It made nearly $1 billion at the box office. The Deadpool movies have been a huge cash cow, but it's widely believed that if it wasn't for that leaked footage, it probably wouldn't have happened. But who leaked it? Who was the mysterious individual responsible? Well, it's the 5-year anniversary of the leak this week, and Deadpool himself, aka Ryan Reynolds Esquire, took to Instagram to share a post of his conspiracy board investigating the possible leakers. While the post is obviously a joke, pointing fingers at the likes of Hugh Jackman or Betty White as being the culprit, which, let's be honest here, it had to be Reynolds himself, right? Even though the board says he's 70% sure he didn't do it. It serves to remind us of a question on the mind of almost every single Marvel and Deadpool fan. Now that Disney bought Fox and owns the movie rights to Deadpool, when will we see the Merc with the Mouth in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Guess what, sleuths? This Instagram post might have blown the whole case wide open. So let's make like another Ryan Reynolds character, Detective Pikachu, to examine all the clues.
My clues!
First off, during the flurry of announcements Marvel Studios made at San Diego Comic-Con this year, Marvel Studios head honcho Kevin Feige dropped a couple of nuggets of information at the end, namely that they're working on bringing the Fantastic Four and mutants into the MCU. And while Deadpool's name wasn't called out specifically by Feige, Disney CEO Bob Iger hasn't been shy in sharing his desire to make Deadpool the most foul-mouthed Disney prince ever. In fact, the day that the Disney acquisition of Fox was completed, Deadpool was featured front and center on the landing page for the Walt Disney Company website, and in a shareholder earnings call, Iger himself said that Disney will continue making R-rated Deadpool movies. And it would be hard to imagine that Disney would want to replace Reynolds as Deadpool. For better or worse, he pretty much owns that character like Steve Carell owns That's What She Said.
That's my joke. Damn it, Dwight.
So, when could we see Deadpool show up on screen with the likes of the Avengers? Well, it's back to that conspiracy board because amidst all that red yarn, Ryan Reynolds himself might have given us a timeline of when Deadpool could be introduced. Quoth the Ryan. Investigation heading into year 5, or as I call it, phase 5. The point is, I love conspiracy yarn. Hashtag leakiversary. Phase 5? Phase 5? Surely this was just a joke, right? Reynolds couldn't have leaked that Deadpool will appear in Phase 5 of the MCU, right? Well, this is the guy who we are pretty sure leaked the Deadpool test footage in the first place. It does track. And while this whole post could be just a joke on Reynolds' part, it's got more than a kernel of truth to it. Though Feige said nothing about Deadpool at the Marvel panel at Comic-Con, when our most smartest, coolest, and most handsomest reporter met up with him afterwards and asked him about Deadpool, he said this.
When could we see something involving Deadpool in the MCU?
I did mention mutants on the way. I put Deadpool in that category.
And if the slate of a dozen or so projects announced at Comic-Con that run through the end of 2021 constitute Phase 4 of the MCU, it makes sense that mutants could be part of Phase 5 along with the announced Blade flick. As for how Deadpool could be introduced, it's possible they could reboot him into a new solo movie right off the bat, with Deadpool breaking the fourth wall to make a bunch of jokes about how all his friends look different somehow. But it seems more likely to introduce Deadpool into another character's film first. This has been a tactic out of the Marvel playbook ever since Iron Man 2, which introduced Black Widow and teased the arrival of Thor, and they most famously did it in Captain America Civil War when we first saw Black Panther and the MCU's version of Spider-Man. In the comics, Deadpool has been a member of the Avengers and various X-teams, so it wouldn't be without precedent to have him cameo in an Avengers or X-Men film once Marvel has worked out how mutants are going to fit into the MCU. Ultimately, we'll have to wait to see specifics, but this seems like confirmation that Deadpool will appear in Phase 5. At this point, the biggest hurdle for Wade Wilson joining his Marvel brethren will all come down to how Feige plans to handle and integrate mutants into the MCU. While Deadpool can be a lot of fun with his fourth wall breaking shenanigans, there's no way that Feige and Marvel are going to let him detract from the X-Men's ultimate entrance. But until we know what that plan is, we're just going to have to keep checking Ryan Reynolds' social media media for clues. But what do you folks think? Is this confirmation that we're getting Deadpool in Phase 5 of the MCU? Or did we fall too deep into our own conspiracy? And who do you think leaked the Deadpool footage 5 years ago? Let's discuss. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? If you want to get notified every time we go live with the show or drop a new video, feel free to mash that little bell so you can be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world.